Hello everyone and welcome back to Torchlight. We are still in the Molten Prison, floor 21, I think. As I said, I can't see it because of the overlay, but I think it's 21. Okay, I have to try to avoid the suicide goblins, crazed goblins they're called. The easiest way to do that is just trigger them and then run away. Once they've started detonating themselves, they basically stop moving. So you just trigger them and then they don't do anything anymore. Making them quite easy. But if you stay close to them, they will actually deal a lot of damage. Here is a troll. And these goblin archers occasionally just fire rockets at you, which land and explode after a bit, so again, that makes it fairly easy to avoid. Just step back a little bit, move away from the explosions, and you won't take any damage. Like so. Oh, a mysterious belt. And one of these days I'll remember not to pick up white items anymore. It's just a hard habit to drop. Okay. Bone belt. More critical damage, more poison damage. Reasonable resistances. But it requires magic, so I'll never use it. Same goes for all of these, so I'll just put them away. Fair enough, Shrine of Enchantment. Let's see what we can put on this bow. Disenchant chance is 4%, I'll take that. And we got faster attack, I think. So that's nice. And this chest is obviously a mimic. You can usually tell from where they're standing. That they are mimics, especially if they're standing in the middle of the pathway or just in a door frame or something like that.
My pack is full.
And my pack being full, and sadly most of it is gems, so this time I'm not forgetting I have the pet, I'm just going back because I want to actually store the gems. And here we are. So all of this can go here. Okay, I can really stop using these and switch over to the bigger variation. In the interest of space. And all of these uniques can just go away. And she is not selling anything of interest for me. Yeah, I just day before yesterday, I think, as of recording this, of course, not as of you seeing it. I uploaded a farming video for Diablo 3 showing how to farm certain type of item that you need in the expansion. And in the matter of about a day and a half, I think, that video shot up to be my most popular video ever. So up to that point it had been a Guild Wars 1 tutorial. Which had about, what, something 370-ish views. Not very much, basically.
A trap has been sprung.
And this Diablo tutorial just hit 600 in a matter of hours.
Your pet has fled.
So I think that's actually quite noteworthy, that it seems people basically have enough Let's Players to watch. Getting quite a few of these.
Fortune frowns on you.
Nothing happens. Nothing happens is not too bad. At least it means I'm not losing my enchantments, basically. But yeah, apparently Let's Plays, there are just a ton of people doing them. And I'm definitely not the best. Whereas with the tutorials, it seems that there is just more interest in them. Now, it's definitely more effort, I guess, to make a good tutorial than it is to just make a Let's Play episode.
Your pet has fled.
I guess I could take the mana potion. And run away from the explosions.
Your pet has fled. Your pet is fleeing.
Well, yes, my pet is fleeing, that's okay. So, I'm afraid that means that, aside from the request mode, which is obviously still in effect, I will probably be toning down the LPs a bit, and instead focusing on finishing a few tutorial series I have started and planned.
Your pet is hurt. Your pet has fled.
Not necessarily because I want the fame and fortune, but okay, this can go away, and so can this, and so can this. Especially if bosses drop stacks of stuff, it can be difficult to actually only pick out the enchanted items. And wow, another one. Oh, a new socket, not bad. I'll see what I have in town and possibly combine something.
Your pet is hurt.
Yeah, the reason, I guess, is that people sort of, simply because there are so many Let's Players, if you just Google the name of it, if you just search for any game, you're probably going to find 2 or 3 people LPing it. So people have their sort of favorite LPers, and it's kind of like football teams. Or at least a lot of people seem to sort of stick to their preferred players. It's not always a single one, like with football teams. It tends to be people being fan of a single one. With Let's Players, it's obviously there's more variety, but there's actually a lot of people who will watch anything just because of who is
Your pet has fled.
who's doing the videos. It's not really something I understand.
Your pet has fled.
I watch stuff if I like the game, and not so much because I like the LPer. Well, ideally it would be a combination of both, I guess. And I gained fame. And of course it's a mimic. And the reason, at least I think the reason, is fairly obvious, that once again for an LP you watch, apparently, or I guess usually you will watch a lot of content from the same person, basically. So you probably want to make sure it's a person you really can listen to for a long time, I guess. Because you're not just watching a single, say, 20-minute video, or at least I don't. You probably want to watch a full playthrough of a certain game, or as full as whoever's uploading it is playing. So obviously it's more important that you don't find the person's voice annoying, you don't find their playstyle annoying, you find their jokes agreeable, stuff like that.
Low.
City charge attacks. And so because of that, starting out as a SLPer is incredibly difficult, especially if you don't feel like advertising so much. If you sort of want to become, I guess, popular, I'm saying I guess a lot, which I don't like, but yeah, if you want to become reasonably popular as an LPer, it seems you either try to stick to really obscure games, like filling a sort of well, need is probably the wrong word, but just doing a sort of game that is very rarely played, and then if you do that right, you can sort of obtain a specialized kind of viewing audience. And I'm saying kind of, which I also don't like, I'm sorry. Giving you a specialized audience, which of course means that if you want to switch to a different type of game, that might mean you sort of lose a lot of people. It's sort of also not good. So for example, if you say start out playing retro RPGs, like I should slap myself every time I say those things, but anyway, for example, you start out playing like the early, and once again slap, you start playing the early Final Fantasy games, or the old Might and Magic stuff, from the early days of RPGs. There are a lot of games that are not very commonly played. I've actually found a few really old RPGs, or fairly obscure ones, which actually have not been LP'd at all. So you could basically focus on that, and this is just an example, it's not a suggestion. I have no idea if that would be successful. But that would be a sort of example of a genre of game that is not as broadly covered as, I guess, action RPGs, action games, stuff like that. So let's say you just focus on those. Ideally, of course, because you like playing the games. If you do YouTube just to become popular, that's probably a bad idea. I'm not saying it can't work, but eventually it shows, which is why I'm basically giving the more tutorial focused style a try. I do enjoy making them. As you might have been able to tell from my LPs, I always try to sort of snap. I try to give helpful advice along the way and not just play through the game and just play through it normally without anything about it. And I've sort of lost myself in my own sentence there. The point is, I'm trying to not purely show the game, but also somewhat give advice on certain tactics, certain ways to make it easier. Now, mostly, obviously, that would be my subjective opinion, but you will have seen that in a lot of games that I've done, that it's also to some degree about trying to help people out who might be new to the game. So, of course, also trying to focus on the story and showing the gameplay and such, but trying to sort of weave in, and sort of slap again, but trying to weave in some advice as well. So, tutorials, they seem like a good idea now, and I'll just see how it goes, I guess. But yeah, back to my example. So you've started doing those retro RPGs, and but now you don't want to anymore. You've played, I don't know, Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever, and long projects, and you just feel like something a little more lighthearted. So I don't know, maybe you switch over to playing Uncharted, whatever. Well, you might enjoy the game and make equally good videos. If you have a solid subscriber base, which are expecting the retro RPGs, you're pretty much out of luck, or you might be unlucky and have a lot of people deciding that if you switch games, they don't want to watch that anymore. Because people are notoriously picky about the sort of content they want to watch. One thing I've noticed, for example, that people do, at least when watching gameplay stuff, they do not really want, I guess, serious discussion of anything. I noticed that with my Chatcraft videos, where I was trying to play Minecraft, which is pretty much a no-brain activity, largely, at least the way I was playing in that series. Yep, my pack is full, but there's some stuff that I do not want to keep. And these videos were not very well received. I got some comments, more than I'd gotten on other series. But that's because the content basically demanded, well, didn't really, not demand sounds strong, but it encouraged stating your own opinion. But yeah, that's pretty much been sort of discontinued or put on hold until I get some suggestions, because it doesn't seem like people really want to watch it. Oh yeah, one sort of, and sort of, there it is again. One piece of advice, in case you are considering starting out with LPs yourself, there are some things you should bear in mind, and there we have a troll. I think it's a troll juggernaut champion, so you can tell, lots of health. Pain kicker. This will involve a fair amount of kiting. These things are tough and do a lot of damage, but they're slow. And they should give me a level up. Or he should give me a level up. So it seems tempting to just sort of... I know it might be annoying, but I'm noticing this a lot today. It might be tempting to just pick out your favorite game and start recording. Now, I'm not going to give any technical advice on like recording setups and such. You will have to figure that out for yourself. But as to the type of game, there are a lot of games which are really fun to play and not ideal for LPing. Oh, level 25. I could get the next level. Devouring Trap was quite strong, if I remember correctly. Do I have here block and parry? Oh yeah, I want that. Increases my chance to block even if I'm not carrying a shield. I think there's a cap on how much block chance you can have, but that passive skill really does help reduce damage quite a bit, so... And once again, I'm using the pathfinding wherever I can. Okay, I don't think I can hit this TNT barrel. Nope. So if you are contemplating starting out with LPs, it's quite important to choose well, when choosing your first game, it's important to note certain things. You do not want to pick a game that is very repetitive. So, or at least I would not suggest it. Stuff like strategy games are, even if you play them a lot, they are not really an ideal choice for starting out. Because they tend to not have as dense of a storyline, and you will spend a lot of time, just taking the example of, say, Final Fantasy Tactics, you will spend a lot of time in battle just playing around with your characters according to your preferred strategy, and you will not spend a lot of time having story. So, if you are experienced doing commentary and such, that can work quite well because it gives you a lot of time to talk yourself. But if you are new to the whole LPing thing, the problem is that it doesn't give you a lot of dialogue by itself, so you have to do all the entertainment yourself, basically, and that is kind of rough. And if you want to learn which kind of game I suggest for starting out, watch next time, when it's Torchlight again. Bye bye!